Oh, hello. I, all right. Well, I guess I gotta talk about Vegas. So, we'll quickly talk about Truck Series. I hated it. Uneventful. Wasted my time. Kyle Busch won by like 7 seconds. Don't care. Xfinity. Pretty much a great race from flag to flag, just about. Um, it was just nice to have a race play out organically, and it had a really like organically good finish. Chandler Smith had a like 3 second lead and lost it, and Austin Hill won. I don't know how that happened or how on earth he lost a 3 second lead, but it was just nice to have like a just a natural finish. So and it was really good. So yeah, Xfinity was like just fantastic from beginning to end. So not really surprising. Xfinity's always just really good. So and Kyle Busch didn't win because he didn't have the best equipment. So yeah, that's the only way he can win an Xfinity race was just being top tier equipment in that, and then have like his Cup pit crew. So yeah, he actually had a challenge. So that was fun to not see him just win automatically. So that was nice. So Cup Series. I have notes, but I kind of stopped like a quarter of the way through because there's just not a whole lot to talk about. So we had a green flag pass for a lead around lap 10 or 15. I mean, it really didn't take long for Byron to get the lead from Logano. Then after that, Byron just was gone, and not a whole lot happened that I can even really note. Kyle Busch scraped the wall. More weird Fox decisions. Boyer being just Boyer and annoying. Danica kept getting cut off from people, which is kind of funny. Um, but at the same time, it's like, why is she even there? People are just gonna keep cutting her off. I don't know why. Danica, there's a part where Danica was talking about Reddick's speed and how he was moving up through the field, and then they abruptly cut. Like it's a very awkward, weird transition, but they do an awkward cut to Larry Mack talking about grill tape openings. Like it was so bizarre and weird because like Danica's like doing her job there and talking about someone in the field, and then they just like go to something else, and it's like so bizarre, random. It's just like amazing on a week to week basis, just the decisions they make for things. Boyer has like what feels like a 3 minute segment talking to Justin Marks during the race, and we're missing parts of the race. There was points where there was action going on, and we just miss it because Boyer's like just so adamant on interviewing Justin Marks. This weird, bizarre, and just man, it's just yeah. The broadcast does not help this race. I think probably if you were in person, this was like amazing, but I'm just going by how what I saw, and it was just very mid, as what the children of the youth say. Just nothing really to note. Green flag pit stops occur, which is appreciated, but even then, like, not a whole lot happened. People were doing undercuts, people were pitting before each other and everything, and no one could gain anything. It's like nothing occurred. I mean, Gregson sped. Ooh. That's like what his father did. I don't know, man. I was just like, I can't even think of a whole lot. It was just a race. It was just very mid. Nothing really like to get pissed about. Um, People were able to make moves. It seemed like I think maybe this the weather kind of affected things. I don't know. It's just stage 1 and 2 was so uneventful and so average. I don't even know what to even say. It was just a race, and there's really nothing wrong with it. But nothing really does make it stand out or elevate it. The booth definitely doesn't make it better, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna review the race based on what I saw, not by what I could have seen. We would be talking about like how movies could be better. Like that's just not the reality of the situation. Like I can't just give a race a higher score because I think it could have been better. Like it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like I don't know. reviewing the Velma show and saying like, oh, it could have been like a 10 out of 10, but it's not. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going up on other tangents because like there's so much other things going in my mind, and I just don't know what to say. I really don't. Cowboys scraped the wall. Oh God. So the last stage is where things kind of get interesting and my eyebrow gets a little bit raised. So Logano Rex, which always makes me happy. There was just a 3-wide situation, just racing incident. Really nothing to note. Just a racing incident. Then after that, that's when things started to kind of get even more interesting because Hamlin took right side tires, got to the front. There was only maybe 10 laps on his tires, but he took those rights, and actually we had what ensued about a 5-lap span of probably the most interesting racing of the whole race because Hamlin was just holding off Larson. He was doing some crazy dumb blocks that probably should have gotten him turned, but didn't happen. And it was really good. At one point, there was 7 cars under a blanket. We had Tyler Reddick running the high lane, gaining spots out of nowhere. He gets sideways and scrapes the wall and keeps going, which we'll get to later. On just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. So there was a little bit of a couple lap span there where it was just really good stuff. And yeah, so then it kept playing out, and it looked like Larson was gonna win. Okay, it's just Byron had the best car, it looked like, but Larson was able to kind of get in front of him, and Byron was able to kind of cut the gap a little bit, but it was 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds compared to the 3.5 second Larson had. So the gap was getting cut, but then we get the dreadful yellow at the end of the race, and it's for really a reason that doesn't make any goddamn sense. I'm sorry, that doesn't. I don't even know what car to use as a reference, but I don't know. Let's just look at Mr. Stapler here. So, just because Almirola got that sideways, hold on, let's got that sideways. Not nothing severe. He got just about as sideways as what Reddick did when he tapped the wall. But that's a yellow, and they were so trigger happy. They were just waiting to throw something, and by God, they found it. And it was just another contrived, manipulated bullshit yellow at the end of the race to spice things up. And what could have been probably a race that was just maybe a 6. I think that's fair. I don't know. Kind of, de-elevates it to a 5.5 because what ensued was just a typical green-white checkered, and Truex stays out, which I don't know why he did that, because tires mattered. Not totally mattered, but Hamlin was able to at least do something because he was on 9-lap older tires. Truex was on 40, so Truex didn't have much of a shot. By God, he tried. He got a good start. He tried to hold off Byron, but it didn't work. So, yeah. So, Truex gets passed. People are getting held up because of Truex, and Byron's just gone. Then ensues a massive crash that Fox, for some reason, barely bothered to show or even give much of an update on how drivers were doing. That's another thing, too, that in the 500, Larson, Earnhardt's the wall pretty damn hard at Daytona, and we didn't even really get, an update, hey, is he okay, or nothing. And then what's even more baffling is, how come Almirola's wreck, which was barely which was a soy boy soft bitch wreck, but the entire field gets obliterated, or there's 6-7 cars that get involved, freaking Allmendinger gets T-boned, and we keep going. What again? It's just classic inconsistency of a yellow. What determines a yellow for these end of the race stuff? And that was probably a case where it would have made sense to throw a yellow, because at that point Byron had the lead. No one was going to catch him. A yellow there would have been just whatever, fine. But Daytona, when they reckon turn 2, yeah, it's kind of a big deal when a yellow's thrown because there's so much of the track left, and people are still pretty close to each other. God. So it's just baffling. Like, how is Almirola's record yellow and then not yellow? Unless the understanding is like, oh, we got to try to race to the finish, but they could change that on a dime all the time with what is a yellow and how this stuff plays out. So it's just another typical inconsistency call, which knocks it down a little bit for me. But at least the best car won, because Byron pretty much led damn near like most of the race. So fine. It was just a very serviceable race that probably could have had a higher rating but got knocked down. So I'm going to give it a 5.5. Definitely not the worst race of the year by far. I still think that's Daytona. I know it's an atomic bomb take, and I'm going to be like probably like the lowest one in the rating stuff for all the other YouTube people. But god damn it, it just was such a mid race, and that ending is such horseshit. And how they determine yellow. I'm sorry, a car getting that sideways. Reddick got just about as sideways. Maybe not as much sideways, but I mean, pretty damn close to it. And they didn't throw a yellow for it, so that did not need to be yellow. And we see in the replay, like, Almirola, like, it's like a 3-second delay from when he gets sideways to when yellow gets called. And apparently there's, like, a delay from the button to when the lights come on. So, like, it happened. I don't know what the delay is, but, I mean, they as soon as he got sideways, I mean, they threw it. They didn't even give him a chance to get it going. They were just waiting for something. It's just horseshit. It's just typical, stupid calls. I'm sorry. A car getting that little bit sideways, that does not, and hitting the wall, that should not be a yellow. It's stupid. So it's just typical. So, and then and obviously at the end we get multiple people get obliterated, which I'm sure was necessary for the ratings, even though the ratings are probably going to be down like usual. So I don't even know what to say. It's unfortunate how that ending played out, but at least the best driver won. So that's why it's not like a down like a whole rating, because it probably would have been a 5 if somebody that didn't deserve it to win. But at least okay, so I guess that salvaged it. So that's why it's 5.5 for me. I don't really know what to say other than that. It wasn't like, it felt boring to me, but definitely nothing. I mean, I've seen so much worse. That's why it's not lower, and it probably could have been a little bit higher. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I don't even know what more to say. I'm done. Bye.